Here we are, field number 2. We've given up on that ploughed field, it was quite hard going walking. But this field here has produced that Alexander III Scottish hammered coin, and if you remember, Pete at the end of the end of last year produced that sort of lead fitting, which is like it's almost like a jester riding a sheep. Still unsure as to what that is, but the farmer has been over this with his topper, and thankfully he's trimmed back all the grass, so it should make it a little bit easier for us to get close to the ground. And let's see what we can winkle out. We have a signal. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like a coin, but maybe we'll turn up something half decent. Let's see. It's popped out, and I think we have got our first coin right there. And that is, not only is it a coin, but it looks like it's a cartwheel penny, which will put it to 1797, George III. So let's give it a wee clean up, see if we've got any detail. I can just make out a rim there, so maybe it's not in too bad a condition. This is the reverse. You can just make out 1797 at the bottom there, and the words Britannia, and you can just about make out Britannia seated in the centre. Not very easy because of this rain. I can't get the coin dry enough, but I'm sure it would come up better. You can just make out the bust of George III looking to the right, his big tatty head, his big potato head, and the letters Georgius, Georgius III, but DG, by the grace of God, de Gratia, and then Rex, King George III. So George III was on the throne from 1760 through to 1820, and famously he lost the American colonies, the Americas. No taxation without representation, and he then went on to lose his mind. The madness of King George. So that's great. What a great start to my metal detecting season. Great, happy with that. I much prefer detecting on stubble. It's just a shame about the weather, but another signal here. I don't think it's a coin, but I said that last time, so let's see what we get. The signal's got decidedly worse now it's out the hole. I think maybe a bit of coke. What's that there? That is it. Whatever it is, it's a bit of tin foil. Damn you, Mr. Kipling. But Marty has just shouted to say that he's got a coin. So he's only about 25-30 metres away from me, so he's going to come and show me what he's got. Martyn produces a cracker. It's going to be hard to see because it's difficult to keep it dry, but you might just make out in the centre there a thistle. And that is a turner. It's another one of these copper 2 pences, but this one's in very good condition. So you can see the thistle. Around the edge it would say Nemo me impune lacessit, which is the motto of the Stuarts, if I remember rightly. But it's also the motto of the Order of the Thistle, which is the highest award of chivalry in Scotland. It's kind of the Scottish equivalent of the Order of the Garter, which is an English order of chivalry. And on the reverse, you can quite clearly see the letters C and R, and above it there would be a crown. I can't see any. Normally there's a 1-1 there if it's Charles II, but I can't see that. So I'm assuming this is Charles I. So that would put it to 1625, and poor old Charlie had his head chopped off in 1649 by Parliament and Oliver Cromwell in what they used to call the English Civil War. Now they call it the War of the Four Nations, or the War of the Four Countries, or something like that, because it wasn't just an English war. It actually kicked off in Scotland. So that's a great coin. Sorry about the dog here rubbing it on my jumper. But that's cracking. Brilliant. Well done, Marty. One of the best turners I've seen in a long time. Great. Well, I've hit a patch of coke here. Charcoal. I didn't dig this one. I thought it sounded like it was probably going to be junk, and it's a great big piece of iron. Relatively shallow, so came through as a fairly good signal. But let's see if we can pick something else out. Well, the iron was there, and we've got another good signal right here. Now that is a good one. That sounds like a coin. Let's see what we get. Well, it was a deep one. There's my probe. It was about, what's that, 7 inches? 7 inches. And I see something round and coin-like. Do you see what I see? Right there. Oh, I think we might have silver. I think we have got silver. Let's see. It is. Oh yes, it is silver. Tainted silver, but still silver. What is that? Half crown? 1933. That's George V. And there he is. Georgius V, by the grace of God, King of the Britons. And on the other side, let's see, what do we have? We have Fid Def, Defender of the Faith, and up here it will say Imp Ind, which means Emperor of India. Let's give it a wee clean up, see if we can get it looking better. I was wrong, it's not a crown or half a crown, it is a florin. I think this is a Gothic florin, is that right? You've got the 4 shields on the back. You've got England, the 3 lions of England, top and bottom. To the right, you've got the Lion of Scotland, and to the left, you have got the Heart of Ireland. So 1933. So I think he died in 1935 or 1936. You can see it's a bit discoloured. I think this is 50% silver. So they started to debase the coins by then. So George V, he was the man responsible for changing the name of the royal family from Saxe-Gotha-Coburg, which was a little bit Germanic sounding. He changed it to the House of Windsor. And he did that because he'd been at war with his cousin, Wilhelm II, the First World War. He was the Emperor of Germany. And his other cousin was Tsar Nicholas, who was famously executed during the Russian Revolution in 1917. So he is the grandson of Queen Victoria. He should never have become king because his brother Albert was older and was in line for the throne, and he died during an influenza pandemic. I'm sure we're all familiar with pandemics. And as a result, George V was thrust into the limelight and became king in 1910. Interestingly, his brother Albert is the one who was often described as possibly being Jack the Ripper in London, the serial killer in London. But I think that's largely been debunked now. But he was the man allegedly responsible for being Jack the Ripper. George V actually kept it in the family because his brother Albert was engaged to marry Mary of Teck, a princess from Europe. And when he died, she was heartbroken. She ended up marrying George V. So, kept it in the family. But I am delighted with that. My first silver of 2022. Superb. Well, Mr. George V was right here. Got another signal. Right here, somewhere. Where was it? There it is there. And that is blowing the ears off. That might well be another coin. Let's see. Moment of truth. We're out the hole, pretty shallow. I think we've got coin number 2. Or a button. That's a coin. George V again. Maybe a wee pocket spill. Right, I'm going to need to try and find a dry bit of my body or my clothing that I can rub this on. My waterproof jacket is more like a sponge. at the moment, so let's see what we get. Here is the coin, best I can do. It's a bit of a nightmare when it's raining like this, but it's got a lovely patina. Georgius V, by the grace of God, King of the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. And it's a halfpenny. Let's give it a wee rub. I haven't seen a date yet. What have we got? We have got something. 16 possibly? 15. 1915. And you can see Britannia there on the back. So kind of getting towards the first half of World War One. So maybe have a wee scout around here, see if there's any more George V's to be found. A wee catch up with Marty. He has found himself a few things. He's got himself what he initially thought was a coin, but turns out to be a silver gilded button. Probably going to be sometime 17 into the 1800s, I would guess. This one's probably a little bit older. Missing its loop. Plain design though. It's probably going to be 1700s, but he's found, he's already done really well with his Charles I copper turner, but he's found this on the eve of Valentine. So this is his wife-to-be's Valentine gift, he says. Perfect timing. Some sort of, I don't know, maybe a sweetheart brooch or a hair clasp. You can see where the pin would have been on the back. And it's got the traces of gold gilding. You can just see it along here and also down here. So that's a nice little find. I'm guessing that's probably going to be Victorian, but maybe it could be Georgian as well. If you know, let us know. Well done, Marty. Another one for Martyn. I think he's back on the weights, but this one's a bit unusual. I haven't seen one like this before. It's got this sort of notch cut out the top. Plain on all sides. It's kind of got a reddish colour. I don't know if that's just with oxidising being in the ground or if it's been painted, but we have got the letters 4 and C. Now, what is it? Is it a weight? Probably weighs about a pound, give or take, maybe a wee bit more. So that's about, what, 450, 600 grams, something like that. So any ideas? I'm guessing it's probably going to be Victorian. Possibly it's some kind of weight, but I don't know what 4 and C stands for, but let us know if you've got any idea. Well, I branched out. I thought nothing else to be had. So coin was there, the silver one, and the halfpenny was here. And it could be another coin. Let's see. Marty off camera called it lead. So, and then we've got something circular right here. The question is, button or coin? I think it's a coin. Yep, think it's a coin, but it is not George V. That looks like it could be one of the early Georges, George I to George III. It's going to be a nightmare to try and get this dry enough to see any detail, but I'll give it a wee rub-a-dub on the trousers or on the jumper and see what we can get. The back is completely toasted. However, this side I can just make out 1-1 up there. And I can't get the coin dry enough because it's pouring with rain and my hands are wet. But I believe this is Georgius II, George II, from the House of Hanover. So he was on the throne from the 1720s. I think it was 1727, and he was on the throne until 1760. He's responsible for defeating Bonnie Prince Charlie, or his son is. He was on the throne at the time, but he sent his son, the Duke of Cumberland, with an army north, a government army of about 5,000 to chase down the Jacobites and Bonnie Prince Charlie, and that resulted in the Jacobite victory, the Jacobite defeat, should I say, at the Battle of Culloden in April 1746. So you can see it's quite a thinnish coin, quite irregular shape. So there we go, not in the best of condition, but coin number 4 for me, so over the moon with that. Just a little faint signal, that one, and it's a little button, a little 4-hole button. Not particularly old, probably in the last 100 years, but there's probably a maker around the edge, but I've got no chance of clearing it up, not with it being as wet as it is. That's a letter R and an I. It may well be Blair Gowrie, which is a little town about 10 miles away from us, give or take. So we've had quite a few buttons from there over the years, but that would be my guess. Still, it's a find. I think we might have another coin right about there. Well, if it's not a coin, it's going to be aluminium, or aluminum, as you might say in the States. Let's see. No pinpointer required. Do you see what I see? Bright green just under the surface, because that's the stubble there. So literally, what, a couple of centimetres, an inch, give or take. And that looks like a ship's halfpenny. 1949, I think that says. So that is going to be George the 6th. Nice wee imprint. So not particularly old. And you can see Georgius V1. So let me try and give this a little bit of a clean up. See what it looks like. I got another digger, barely a minute after the last one. Don't think it's a coin, but maybe a wee button or a bit of lead. Let's see. Well, no coin, no lead, no button. It looks like a fragment of a bottle top. Probably someone having a cheeky wee dram out in the field. Tend to be that the bottle tops you find are all whiskey bottles. Everyone obsessed with alcohol back in the day. Oh well. Martyn's got something, I think. He's coming in my direction. Let's see what he's got. Looks like a coin or a button, but you can see it's slightly dome shaped, and I think that that is a bullet, a lead bullet, probably like a small caliber, a 22 or something like that. And when they hit something very hard like a stone, they sort of pancake, and they leave this sort of circle effect on the outside edge that makes you think it's a coin, but I'm pretty sure that's a bullet. Right, I might have a final coin here. Sounds pretty constant. Let's I think Martyn's coming over for a scan. Let's see what we get. We're probably just going to give up in 5 or 10 minutes. We're heading towards the edge of the field. Two of us are more like sponges than anything else with all this rain starting to make it hard going, but we've had a good day so far, so this might be my last signal. Let's see. So maybe my last find. I've got about another 40-50 metres of field to go, but you never know. We're out the hole. Oh ho ho! He's done a silver. It's not hammered, is it? It's a milled. Can't see a head on that. Oh no, there's a head there. It's Victoria, is it? Oops. Gone. Dropped it. Chalk horror. There it is. It's Victoria and it's silver. Doesn't look in the best of condition, but let's give it a wee rub on the only dry bit of jumper I've got left and see what it looks like. This is the best I can do because it's pouring with rain. But you can just make out the head of Victoria looking to the left. And on the back, it's very worn, but there is a crown. You have got 18 to the left, and it's something 4. So that could be what, anything from 1854, 1844 right through to 1894. And I'm pretty certain that that is a threepence, a silver 3p. But it's silver, it's milled, and it's my second silver of the day, albeit pretty battered. So I've got about 40 metres of field to go. Let's see if we can pluck anything out in the final stretch. Well, that is us for the day. We are both soaking. Don't know about Martyn, but I'm cold as well, and I'm also hungry. So what did I get? 6 coins, 2 of them silver, so I'm over the moon with that. But Martyn, find of the day with that really good condition Charles I Turner, or 2 pence, copper 2 pence from the 1600s, or the first half of the 1600s. So great find, almost 400-year-old coin, and you don't often get them in as good a condition as that. So thanks for watching. It's good to be back out, and if you like what you see, give us a follow, give us a like, and hopefully we'll see you again very soon.